Alright, what do I do here?
Just go to our page.
Oh my god, what is this?
It's a turd flinging monkey.
I'm laughing at the woman's face. It's like,
all right. So we're gonna examine Turd Flinging Monkey's video. MGTOW, what is love? That was actually the picture of his video. It was the Saturday Night Live sketch. Yeah, that shit.
that shit was funny. Calm down. I'm not Superman.
You equated pushing buttons on a fucking...
No, it's called speed, my friend. It's called speed. Don't fucking do this. I'll let them know what happened with you and your phone. Alright. I'll let the two people know. Look, one person's watching.
That's us, right? Who knows?
There's two people, too.
Yeah.
One day, they're gonna count. They're gonna scan us. Two people are watching and one suing. Yep, I know. We'll get flagged. We'll get flagged for us.
Yeah, I know. Copying user content. Alright, so hopefully this guy rebuttals because his argument is pretty bad. It's
I haven't seen it yet.
think of Jordan Peterson making the argument that if you didn't have like a feminine,
You don't have a woman. You don't have a woman.
You'd be something unrecognizable to a human. You'd be like transhuman or something. Or like,
I mean, completely.
almost like robotic. Yeah. You have no inner realm going on. It's just purely everything on the surface. Yeah. Which these guys can't escape from. They can't escape from their internal realm. They may try to, and wash it away with chemicals in the brain type stuff, but there's no escaping it.
Well, I mean, I haven't seen it yet, so it could be just his. Like I may explain it better, but he may not. He may not know how to explain it, so he uses scientific terms. But if he's saying there isn't, it's just chemicals.
I think he's straight up saying it's just all of it's just biology.
Oh, that's a little weird. Well, imagine this. Out of nowhere, he's running in the tunnel, looking for a way out. And Tessarian says, "Over here, come on." Starts running away. Come on,
Oh shit, he's in the chat.
Oh, he is.
That's good.
What's up?
That's a good thing.
Who's Turd Flinging Monkey guy? Oh my god.
You can look on your phone, man.
We have made it big. What?
That's you, man. Fuck, I can't fucking see this shit.
We have made it big, and you drop it. You drop the keyboard.
I told you to use your phone.
Here.
Just pull up the chat if you can.
Where is it?
Alright, never mind. I'll just keep checking back and forth on this. Alright, we're gonna examine your video, man. Your
Pressure.
what's it all about?
The pressure's on. He's watching.
Alright, let's do it. Ready?
No. I'm not ready.
Where's the sound?
You didn't put on the sound.
Fuck.
He's watching. He's watching us fail.
Drop the keyboard. There's no sound. Why isn't there sound?
You can't even put this. He's probably sitting there listening like, oh, ooh, these fucks. Ugh.
Let's see if there's sound now. Of course there's sound.
You know, I just.
What happened?
What do you mean, what happened?
What happened? It's Hillary Clinton's book, huh?
Yeah. But nothing happened, right? Right?
He's gonna give us like technical advice. Fix our stream.
Guys, listen. You don't want that really pale guy in the room with you. It throws everything off. Second of all, it's summer. What are you doing?
Can't use a really white guy and green screen at the same time.
I can just cover myself. Leonardo. This has to be. This looks so bad. Like, okay. Like a Pokeball. Holy shit, come on, guys. See? See? So we light this candle or what?
Hey everyone, this is Turd.
We did all that for a dramatic effect. It was all planned. And
yeah, I fucking wish. We're dirt poor. We don't have the means.
Alright, let's examine your video.
Flinging Monkey. Now in my video, She'll Never Love You, I make the claim that women don't love men. But I think I've caused a little bit of confusion. Because women do love men in their own way, just not in the same way men love women. And I think I can explain this a little better in this video. So let's talk about love. What it is, what it isn't,
Okay.
and how it differs between the sexes.
That's what I was about to ask, basically.
Mm-hmm.
First, you should define love, and then going on it. Right.
So understanding that love literally is the chemical reaction that compels animals to breed, we need to look at how men and women love based on reproductive dynamics.
See, you already jumped over the argument of defining love. Like, you already jumped over that point by just saying it's simply chemicals in the brain. Now let's move on with the argument. There's a little too much nuance with the word love to just say chemicals in the brain. You say scientists, neuroscientists, psychologists, they don't even understand where fucking consciousness comes from. And how you can explain love then. If you don't understand consciousness, and then you just place a small bracket definition of chemical reactions in the brain, it does not make sense to me.
I mean, if you said if only, like that's all it is.
Yeah, say your point first. I'll look at it.
Well, I mean, I'm just saying, like, let's say there's somehow it could be like, join us, the army of the monkeys.
You have fucking ADD. Man. Say your point first, and then I'll fucking look over it.
All right, fine.
Guys, stop chatting.
It's not working on my phone. Anyway,
doesn't work on my phone.
I'm not saying it couldn't be some sort of chemical thing, but I would say that in regards to both, like looking at a masculine and feminine way, you know, there's like two ways to like just describe it, you know.
Well, I would use those for defining the self, as in who a person is. I mean, going with that, you can say which comes first.
Mm-hmm.
Is it chemical reactions in the brain, then all of a sudden my body or whatever feels some sort of a euphoria? Or is it based on just living and observing something, I have some sort of affection for this, thus chemical reaction in the brain.
So you're saying it's an end result?
Same thing like depression, right? If you really love this dog, it gets hit by a car.
Yeah, what the fuck?
It's you applying love to the dog and care for the dog that if it went away, you'd be sad.
What's wrong with you?
Then, chemical reactions in the brain. Sorry.
This is sick.
Knock on wood, whatever this is.
Yeah, it's polished and everything.
And it's
What does the comment say?
Fuck. I think they're chatting on purpose, so I have to reach over here to scroll through them.
It's because of what, Paul? I can't.
I think I pulled.
Oh, I want to read the comments so bad. So you're saying chemical reactions are basically an end result of something more than something that can be measured or seen on on paper.
Yeah, I'm saying something happens first, then the chemical reaction.
Right.
It's like the same argument that like the Zeitgeist movement makes, that it's the environment sending you content that makes you act a certain way.
Okay.
If you live in an impoverished neighborhood, you're gonna act. It's more likely you're gonna act like a criminal. I think it's more with that argument. First of all, you have to have an observer first.
Mm-hmm.
So the observer placing whatever thing on the environment, their perspective on the environment, and then the environment reflecting back. Thus, observer, something, I apply this thing here, love, to this thing, and it reflects back.
Love, you mean?
I love cars or whatever.
I mean, love?
Yes.
Not. It's like this equates to love. Yes. This equals love. S equals love.
Fuck.
You have mixed the potions correctly. Love.
And
Oh, I really want to read the comments.
I'm trying to fucking open the comments.
And you gotta.
I'm like afraid of us
Hmm?
getting kicked off or some technical fucking thing.
It won't be the first time.
Yeah.
We shall read the comments soon as my
As
my technologically
As soon as we start making millions of dollars,
fuck no. What happened?
we'll have our own Jamie on it.
Oh, you hit the fucking button and it went down. You keep hitting it. Wait, stop it. Stop it.
Oh, my bad. Fuck. Whatever.
We should just call ourselves the noobs.
There you go.
Gotcha. Alright. So I'm gonna read this comment here.
There's gonna be too many to fucking.
Turd Flinging Monkey, what's up? What you talking about, Willis? So we lighting this candle or what? Holy shit, come on, guys. Adjust the lighting. I do not have that luxury of adjusting the lighting. Oh shit, it's about to go down. The green screen will work, but use indirect lighting.
Yeah.
Send us money. Send us money, fund. I'm gonna eat my popcorn. Entertain me, soy boys. Damn.
Oh, a friend actually said that to me once.
Soy boys.
Some dude who's like
Oh.
5'4". It's like,
Wait.
you taking soy protein, man?
What's this?
Acting kind of soft.
I'm
I'm like looking down. I'm like, what?
UW, what's this?
I don't know.
Two men will soon discover what love is about. Unrated version.
That was kind of funny.
Love is this is from Turd Flinging Monkey. Love is a product of the reproductive instinct and based on male/female reproductive roles. Common sense, yo.
Nah, I don't know about that.
Then he says,
You have to explain consciousness first in order to say that.
Then he says, where do emotions come from?
Where do emotions come from?
That's what Turd Flinging Monkey said. TFM. TFM said it.
Once again, it's going to be like flowery, woo-woo type sounding language, but it comes from the self reacting to, or it's basically disseminating likes and dislikes on the world. Then it reflects back to the ego as car or bike or whatever. Right? Self creates conflict, as in you make a distinction between left and right and up and down. Then what your emotions do is place likes and dislikes on those things in order to express likes and dislikes. Once you do that, then the external thing reflects back to you as happiness or sadness.
Absorbing content, huh?
Right? It's happiness. I place it on a car. Car makes me happy. It's
If we truly know what happiness is.
It's a chemical reaction.
Yeah. Okay, I hope I'm saying this right. MGK. I wish.
MGTOW.
MGTOW. Okay. At MGTOW Gamer says, "Hey, 24 subs watching or reading this on the future." Turd Flinging Monkey said, "Do they come from your brain?"
What, emotions?
I would assume so.
No.
Emotions don't come from the brain.
No, but you can probably see chemical processes happening, or whatever, neurons firing, or whatever the fuck.
MGTOW?
Yes.
Just being careful.
Who's a noob here, man?
I'm not trying to get fucked up.
We're not even a minute into the video.
It's all good. You said, "Join us, the army of the monkeys, or get purged." LOL. Just kidding.
That's racist.
And then, okay, Turd Flinging Monkey, he's serious now because he used all caps. He said emotions come from your
limbic system.
Yeah, my fault.
Once again, could that just be a reaction to something I'll call it the self is trying to express? I'm trying not to go too woo-woo and say like soul or whatever the fuck.
You must go woo-woo.
because I make distinctions between, as far as my metaphysical ideas, I make a distinction between the self and the soul. As in,
that's okay.
The self is the mental, not the brain, but the mind's representative of the soul.
If we're gonna make the attempt,
or the soul's representative.
If we're gonna make the attempt
mind.
for an argument, then you have to.
Oh yeah, I'll go there. It's just, why not take the on the surface?
You have to spew out content, even though they don't know what you mean.
Well, yeah.
It's like you have an idea for the cookie, but as you're trying to bake the cookie, it's like, what are these like ingredients? It's like they're good enough. Hopefully they'll get it.
Well, you know.
All right.
It's on the surface. I go for that.
Big Toe Gamer says, or sub me to even though I really make videos. LOL. Yuko's faithful husband. I'm it's something I'm missing probably.
What, the name?
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, whatever.
I'm married to a 2D character. That's true love.
Actually, it is.
You know, he said, "Get at me."
I don't know his argument.
I'm married to a 2D character. That's true love.
Ah, yeah, it is. It's self-love. You're placing your love on something else. It's you reflecting your idea of love back at yourself.
Damn. Turd Flinging Monkey says, sexual attraction comes first, then pair bonding. Pour the chemical that's in the speaker right here. And
the self comes before sexual attraction.
The self.
As in the self has to exist in order to observe something, in order to make distinctions, in order to say, I like this, and I don't like that.
My fault. Then he said, all are in the brain. And he said, am I taking crazy pills?
No, it makes sense for people to say that because you can fucking put it on a map and observe it. You can put it in a lab, take x-rays, whatever the fuck, MRIs, whatever the fuck neuroscientists do, and you can observe it. That's why it's simple to just go with that. The whatever's called, Occam's razor.
I guess this would go into as far as the
I would say
what is it, the masculine feminine thing, where as far as like on these x-rays we couldn't measure anything. There's nothing wrong with you. There's something wrong, doc, man. There's something wrong.
Yeah.
No, there's not. Here, have a glass of Smile. Go ahead, take a swig. It helps me.
Did you see
it helps me escape the feelings.
Did you see Kat Zingano talking about depression on Rogan's?
Not yet. I will soon.
She was like, I just felt flat. Like, no ups or downs, just...
Yikes. Migto, or Migtao, whatever. Gamer says, Azura? I'm probably saying that wrong. Is best girl.
Is that a Skyrim? Is that a Skyrim character?
Best grill. Enough trolling for me now. How about you watch the video first?
I know.
Do some research.
I have watched this video already, but you know, for the sake of,
I just really, really want to read all these. Get up to date. Oh my god. Oh my god.
All right, let's fucking go back to the video, man.
Fair enough. Damn.
You ready or?
Well, he asked us which one of us is the little spoon. I want to know what that means. Whatever. We'll look at them later.
Is that a Matrix reference or is it underground sexual fetish thing?
I don't know. And you gotta charge this shit.
I think it'll be right.
Alright, fine.
Alright. Continuing on.
We can observe this most purely in the form of animals. Now, humans are an animal in which...
Fucking rewind a little bit. Give them some context.
In this video. So let's talk about love. What it is, what it isn't, and how it differs between the sexes. So understanding that love literally is the chemical reaction that compels animals to breed, we need to look at how men and women love based on reproductive dynamics. We can observe this most purely in the form of animals. Now, humans are an animal in which sexual dimorphism favors the male. If you've missed my previous videos, that simply means that the male, as opposed to the female, is the bigger, stronger sex. There are species where the female is the bigger, stronger sex, and the reproductive dynamics work completely differently.
I'll nitpick and ask if that's a trend or if that's an actual truth. But that's nitpicking, I guess.
However, humans are a species in which the male is bigger and stronger, and that vastly influences the reproductive dynamic.
Pause it.
Because
didn't make assumptions of the video, so just stating that real quick.
Yeah, I watched this video already. And I've seen some of his other videos too.
I have not seen it yet, but go ahead.
Production value, pretty good. Just disagree with the ideas. As opposed to our masterful, Oscar-winning production. Balls.
Dynamics work completely differently. However, humans are a species in which the male is bigger and stronger, and that vastly influences the reproductive dynamic. Because the male is bigger and stronger, genetic diversity is achieved by men competing over women. I've associated this with a dominance instinct. In species where the female is bigger and stronger, typically the male dies either during or shortly after sex, and this is how genetic diversity is achieved in those species. Now, the important thing to understand by male sexual selection, and by extension love, we need to understand what men use to achieve sexual success.
Alright, so once again, these are, to my ears, sound like probabilities. As in, these are trends that are probably what's happening. Also, I would say the dynamic human consciousness. I haven't heard that brought up here. You're just saying that,
You might want to read this.
What?
Some of this. Some of it's silly stuff, but some of it's like, it's inviting.
You've already gone too woo. Full woo.
He said,
hey, it's me.
oh my god, this is pure woo.
I'm telling you, there's empirical evidence for this. It's just not shared in a lab anywhere. You'd have to actually do self-observations.
How do you not know about the limbic system? Do you think emotions are magic? Fail. See me after class. Then he explains what limbic system is.
Is consciousness magic?
Paging Brianna Wu. How do I reach these kids?
Like Eric Cartman.
The self becomes before the limbic system. He's quoting us, I guess. Nocta. What is he asked us, what is the self?
There goes a 3-hour video.
Define it, please. Hard mode. Don't use the word soul, essence, humanity. He's giving us rules here.
Soul, essence, humanity. Okay. I would think of the self in more of a Jungian type context, which is the entire, I would say, almost like an ecosystem of who a person is. As in, you have levels of ego, superego, your shadow self, your whatever, persona. All these things combined together, you would consider the self. How do I explain all these things? I can start with ego. All right, ego.
It's like an ecosystem of you.
Well, there's things that are. These are all things that are like pulling against each other, seemingly pulling against each other. I would say for the sake of development, almost like a child, like tugging at his mom's, whatever, tits for milk.
Yeah, what's wrong with you? All right. Migto Gamer says, "Well, sorry for not thinking with our fifis, instead living and functioning with pure logic and calculations. Oops, thinking. Okay. I keep doing that shadow typing thing.
Logic's relative. As in, if you're a crazy person, logic turns into something else.
And calculations, you mean the numbers that we created?
Yes.
To give it like a, what do you call it? The most probable answer?
Yeah.
Which is,
I mean, I'll give a round of applause for anyone that can tell me a truth that science has come up with. Anything. A truth. Not a probability. 100%. This will never change fact.
You mean like
anything.
My favorite color?
Go down.
No, don't skip it.
Go all the way down because I want to hear the response.
Okay. Well, I'm like, I don't want to escape anything else here.
Minute 51 into the video.
Sorry, bruh. I'm not. I told you, I'm not gonna.
We have OCD and
I don't want
ADD
to. I don't want to skip anything. Why don't you handle this? You do it. You handle it.
You want to do this, and
Oh.
yeah. Since you haven't seen this, right?
Nope.
Yeah.
This takes the form of two roles that the male plays. These aren't social constructs. These are roles that you see in animals that have no sense of government or society or patriarchy or feminism. Males in sexually dimorphic species where the male is bigger and stronger involve what's called mate guarding. This involves the male protecting his territory and his mate from other males within the species. This also involves the male addressing other threats, be they environmental threats or other animals, such as the...
See, I do agree that this happens in nature, but I would say that would be with people living on a certain level within the entire self. Usually the ego, fight or flight type level. But there's levels beyond that. There is a consciousness, there is a subconscious, there is a shadow, there is a, I don't know, anima, animus type thing. I don't know if I should spend the video like defining every single one of those things.
Oh, hey, they can ask in there.
Yeah.
I mean, we have as much time as we please.
Yeah. Unless my computer randomly restarts for no reason. Let me just do this.
Peacock. In the peacock, the male has the big bright feathers which attract the predators away from the female.
Peacock, have you heard of that?
This is very typical in a lot of species where the male is bigger and stronger. So how do males express love? They do it by protecting and providing for their mate. The key word that kind of...
Someone named like Wife Beater.
Damn, son.
Like fucking savage, man.
Wife beater. Oh, yeah. There's nothing funny about domestic violence.
When I say levels of the self, there's only one whole self. When I say levels, that's in order to make disseminations between the levels so you can dissect it. Just like there's one body, but there's many limbs and cells and all this shit. And you zoom into one thing in order to diagnose it or investigate it or whatever.
Fair enough.
The theme that ties male love, which typifies male love, is sacrifice.
Male love.
The male shares his resources, shares his territory, protects the woman, protects the children. These are the roles that the man plays, again, not from a social construct, but from nature. This is how males express love. And when you read love...
Isn't that just expressing sexuality? Unless I heard that wrong, or you're just equating love with sex, which is wrong.
The other argument is, how do we know?
How
do we know?
How do we know that that's wrong?
Or how do we know that, well, he loves her, that's why he's giving her some space in his hole.
Well, that's possible too.
And he gives her a piece of the lion that he just hunted. I'm just, you know, but all seriousness now, you know, pretty sure a study doesn't conclude that, you know, you see, that means he loves her. It's like, pretty sure Ted Bundy had a house too, you know, shared food.
Yeah, you can't observe love in a lab somewhere, which is
well, you could.
Which, no offense, seems like he's trying to do in order to make another observation, and you know, sort of place a foundation there, so he can make that argument that whatever, this is why men do this or women do that.
Possibly.
And yeah, I have a problem with the foundation you're laying down. I don't see it as
I did my best.
legitimate enough.
I did my best, man. Right. Should we keep going or should
Good. All right. I say if you guys have questions, just
when
ask.
you watch a romantic
about,
movie or whatever, you typically see the
Yeah, just
male
pause it
version
with
of
this. If you have questions about what the self is or whatever, I can break it down, attempt to break it down, sort of the level by level way. But that all means for oneself. So when I say ego, superego, subconscious, persona, all these things, these are me splitting the self apart in order to examine it. Now, if you have questions on the individual ones, I can answer those too. But for the purpose of this video, since we're not really going there, I'd say look into Carl Jung's work, the basically analytical psychologist. Look into his stuff.
I mean, I'm down for after we watch the video, if we ever make it to the end, that is.
I know.
love. The man sacrificing himself for the woman. The man giving gifts to the woman. The man protecting the woman. This is how males express love. Now let's turn our attention to the female, and not just human women, but women in general, especially in species where they are the weaker, smaller sex. When a woman
Praying
selects a
mantis.
mate, she primarily
your head.
displays this by letting the man have
Inside.
sex with her. This is the primary way that women show love. Now, beyond the obvious sexual dynamic, women also appropriate the male's territory. This is sometimes referred to as the nesting instinct. You see this like if you have a girlfriend and she comes over and starts leaving her toothbrush and her clothes. She starts making like a little place for her stuff in your house. That's what I'm talking about. This is also when women become very possessive. They may even turn into quote-unquote psycho girlfriends.
Reminds me of high school. You can put my stuff. You can put my stuff in my locker. It's like what? I mean, you can put your shit in my locker. I'm like, what? What?
Nick Diaz.
What?
It's like,
What?
Nick Diaz said the girl was like stalking him and he choked her out or something.
I don't know the full story. Do not know the full story.
You're
Where they try to insert themselves into every aspect of your life.
Too close.
Texting you all the time, telling you they can't stop thinking about you, naming your unborn children, weird shit like that. This is how women display their love. And the key theme to how women display their love is with their presence.
Oh,
Now, when
yeah.
a man is there for...
So I'm saying just talk about the self. Like, okay. So I made a video. Once again, a little rough around the edges video. I think it's called MGTOW and Feminism. Something like that versus masculine and feminine. Because I'm hearing these labels about masculine means male and feminine means female. But
I mean,
these words are just symbols for something archetypal and metaphysical in nature.
Sure, this meaning. You know,
As
different
in,
meaning.
yeah.
Words.
As in masculine meaning direct, straight to the point, rational, logic, and feminine meaning, you could say chaotic, or boundless, or you could say irrational, or abstract, something like that.
Yin and yang.
Yeah, yin and yang version of masculine and feminine. So in that video, I sort of go level by level, talking about what I believe is the way to understand what the self is.
I have an understanding.
Yeah, that's why it's so hard to define the self itself, because it's
like
it's you.
Well, yeah, it's like I can't describe. I can't tell you.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, I can only describe to you what I know in a way. You know.
I can go about the dissected levels or sections of it.
But at the same time, it's like somewhere you get caught from like you get stopped from defining something into describing it to someone else that doesn't know, and they won't know.
Yeah, exactly.
They won't know.
It's
as
like
an absolute, they won't.
It's like I would have to. It's like me attempting to teach astrophysics or something like that to someone who doesn't understand anything about math or anything, It's like we only speak the same language, man. I have to teach you my language first so you can say I agree or disagree. So, all right, let's start with the ego level.
And they do not like us. God.
Oh, well. Let's start with the ego level. All right, your ego is your, I would say, negotiator between external experience and internal experience. As in, external meaning content, your environment. I would even consider your biology as external in a sense. Internally would be feelings, feelings, thoughts, or deep thoughts too. Anything ethereal that's not non-physical. And your ego's the negotiator of these two. It's sort of where these two realities meet. As in, I can observe something externally with the body, but internally I can place a feeling on it. So I'm receiving content here of there's a microphone, and I'm also applying a meaning to the microphone. Even if you say I don't give a shit about the microphone, that's still a feeling towards it.
Well, it's care.
It's adding, yeah. It's internally adding something to the object.
I care enough to make a statement. I'm upset
So
about it.
where they meet at would be the ego. Then I went into the superego, which would be the sort of your social representative within your head, as in, I'm fat, or I'm ugly, or this style's cool, or this style's whack. And it's your perception of society rolled into some little guy that's in your head. That's like, this is the right way, and this is the wrong way.
Hold on. I fucked up on how to say mantises or whatever.
Okay.
Obsessive compulsive. I just can't.
Yeah. Oh, did you type something?
No, but you got it. There's a lot of shit here.
I'll fucking answer all of them too.
Good. Keep going.
Burden of proof.
One guy called us this is hipster like bullshit.
Hipster bullshit.
No, this is hipster bullshit. Good vibes, man. No negativity here, bro. No negativity. Like, we'll block that out, bro. No negativity here. It's like, negativity is a good thing. You know, it can be. Just like anger.
I wouldn't use the word good. I'd say healthy.
My fault. Healthy.
Because, yeah.
Because then we were just walking around drinking a glass of Smile everywhere. Everything's okay. Nothing's wrong. And that's that song playing in the background. Sunshine. Be my sunshine. It's like,
Alright, where was that? Superego?
Superego.
Yeah, it's basically a social representative in your head. That tells you what's, taboo or what's okay, and on with that.
Alright,
sort of
let's gain some ground here.
The woman, he's there
I'll
to
come back to
provide, to protect, and to sacrifice. When a woman is there for a man, she's blessing the man with her presence, but she's not actually doing anything. A woman's love is very passive. It's very selfish. The woman receives the sacrifice of the man, but doesn't really give much in return other than her presence. Now, to a point, because of the sexual dynamic, this is really all that's required.
See if we can do
because
that.
the male
I don't know how to do that. I would definitely do that.
Do what?
Let the guy on. Like Skype him or something?
Why not?
I'd have to figure that out somehow.
Hey, ask
we're technologically ignorant.
We are children in that sense. Hey, if he can send like directions through there and like, cause he helped me define what was it? The something system.
Olympic system.
That's it. Yeah.
But the success is limited by the amount of females that he
They
can
said
attract.
he's gone now.
Thus, by
Oh well.
He just kept saying woo.
Like Ric Flair?
Yeah.
No, at least he said Ric Flair.
Yeah.
Except Ric Flair doesn't say woo woo. He says woo. Like one big woo.
it's like you have to have some sort of degree to say anything about this, when really it's just self-observation. It's
well, one guy
it's
in
not,
there,
it's not lab coats and
yeah, sure.
you know,
one guy in there
assisted living.
said something like go to my class or something. It's like I have to be in a group with an instructor where that's like I'm right or wrong.
Yeah.
Like what's going on? And hey, I don't know, but it seems like the norm is no, you're not right, James. The self isn't here. It's not. It doesn't come from here. It's in your brain. It's like what? How do you know? Because we studied it.
Because someone else studied it and told me that, and they have PhDs.
Well, it reminds me. You know what? Let's just finish this. Honestly.
Acquiring females, he achieves reproductive success. There's nothing really required of them other than to be there.
Like I want to answer all
and
of
to
those,
allow him to reproduce.
or at least help. Yeah.
Whereas the female's reproductive success is limited by the resources she can acquire through the man. Because a woman, I've made this point before, but let me just repeat it. When a woman is pregnant, and I'm talking about animals, not just humans, when a female is pregnant, she's slow and she is vulnerable. She can't hunt for herself, and she requires more calories. Thus, she needs the man to provide her with additional resources and to protect her from threats. This is an ingrained instinct. This is why women are attracted to resources or men who can provide resources, or at least utility. Now, it's important to recognize that the fact that men and women love differently, experience...
It was interesting. Like, how do we know all this? You know?
Evolutionary biology, most likely.
So it's basically observation.
It's... You mean the original guys that came up with this idea?
Well, probably, yeah.
I
mean, if we
I would say external observation. Then obviously you can't observe every animal at every moment at every given time.
Sure.
So you probably study a population and then take that and throw it on the rest of the species and rest of the whatever.
Well, it's just interesting to me how we can call it like love. We have a word that we all agreed upon, like what like a general meaning of it is. But it's weird because it's like the true meaning of it means something more greater, and like it appears that not many people have a true understanding of what it is. Instead, it's it basically means resources, you know, like et cetera, like, well, she loves you because you have a lot of resources and you provide for her and you protect her, and it's like, well, what? And I could be wrong. I'm not trying to quote this guy or anything. I clearly didn't. I wasn't quoting anybody. But as far as summarizing, I mean, like, I'm pretty sure, like, what happened to the, I don't know, the dirt poor couple who fucking love you, you know?
Yeah. Observation is very important in anything.
I'm not saying
so
it isn't. Yeah.
So is scientific method. That's very important. But it's also important to understand that they can lead to truths, just not on an external observational level.
By itself.
Unless you're God.
Well,
unless you are the thing you're observing as well, in order to,
This emotion we call love in different ways and express it in different ways doesn't make women evil. Just because the way a man expresses his love is very sacrificial.
No, it's
and
different.
the way a woman expresses her love is not sacrificial. Doesn't mean she's bad. Doesn't mean she's doing anything wrong. She's just different. Men and women are not the same. Our instincts are not the same because our reproductive dynamics are not the same. The danger is when we project the way we love onto the opposite sex and assume that they love us the same way. That is the problem. The problem is with men who provide and sacrifice for the person that they love, expect that person to sacrifice for them, and they don't. And they feel disappointed.
Am I supposed to say something?
It's odd enough for me how it's. See, I hope I'm not saying something too soon that answers my question, you know. Or
well, this whole thing's just a runaround because the initial premise was the problem in the first place. To just say love is this chemical thing in your head or in your brain.
Or it's about
now it sets up the rest of the argument to just fall in line with that.
Or
I consider faulty premise.
Or sacrifice. Something like sacrifice.
If you're going based on science, yet you haven't found any proof of this, then I don't get where you're going. Where's your...
Well, like, as far as science goes...
How does your premise hold up?
As far as science goes, I think it's a great thing to attempt to prove something, you know? As well as, like, to observe it. I mean, I use studies as well as far as reference points. But it annoys me when someone, like, grabs a bowling ball and they hold it up, you know, well, if they could, hold it up in the air. Say, if I drop this, it will hit the ground. It's like, well, how do you know that? Oh, there's 99.99% chance it will, or whatever.
Yeah.
It's like, well, dude, I mean...
Well, assuming the force of gravity.
Sure.
But then also you have to sort of... See, this is what makes it funny, is that when you become this hyper rational thinking, you end up turning your ideas into these whimsical ideas, to where the only way this rule applies is if you put something in a vacuum and eliminate the rest of existence.
Oh, it's distorting reality. Yeah,
it's like in a vacuum,
distorting reality
at this particular spot on Earth.
Yeah,
because the other spots, the force of gravity is a different rate.
Right.
And we rounded the number. It's like now
that we created.
It's like you have to become whimsical and eliminate reality.
And it's funny, like
at the same time, it's fucking cool to do that. Well, yeah, and also, I use the scientific method as far as existential processes of understanding who you are. Right? You develop a theory, you test it out, you wait for feedback, or the psychological term, just noticeable difference. Like if you're,
as well as
like using Groundhog Day as an example, to where everything's the same every day, but then those little differences you will notice because you've seen this so many times. That's a just noticeable difference. Like, that door's open. It's like at a slightly different angle.
Even if you say something in regards of seeing a lot of external content and you receive it and you take it within, and then it mixes like with internal content, you know. Then your internal content becomes external as you try to explain it to someone.
What's this guy's name? Fuck.
Turn the screen.
Nocta. Once again, calling it mumbo jumbo about the self is a even weaker argument than you think I'm making about his whole premise that love is chemical reactions in the brain.
And I mean, is he? Well, I'll have to watch the video, but you already watched it. So, is he saying that's what it is based off of us?
He already the first whatever minutes or whatever. He already established that, and then used that to base the rest of his argument on.
Well, sometimes people say they get shit mixed up as far as knowing and believing. Yeah. Like, based off what we observed, we believe that love is a chemical reaction from something, and then
that's what I'm about to say.
And then they say, we know this is true. It's like, well, no, you either know or you don't, and that's it.
Yeah.
Like, how can we really know something, unless like we use our own rules with it. Meaning like I know 2 + 2 = 4. Yeah, because we agreed upon that.
Well, make distinctions in order to make an argument, which is what I'm saying the self does.
I feel like an asshole because I didn't fucking even finish the video.
Disappointed and let down.
Feel free to pause whenever you want.
They were never loved at all.
I don't even think we need to at this point.
Fair enough.
I'd rather just take questions and.
All right.
Thank you for telling us. Typo in the title. See, the T is right next to the R, so shit happens.
Hey man, I would have never guessed.
I would have just left it too.
Me too. It's like, look at these illiterate fucks. Oh, someone called us cucks. It's been a long time since I heard that one. Cucks. An older gentleman called me that not too long ago.
It's like, yeah, you cuck. No, it's like, you feed him like, what? It's that Eddie Murphy shit. Yeah. Excuse me?
No, it's like, what did you say to the Italian man? It's like, you heard me. Give me some juice.
Alright, Metal Kill WK Anonymous says the scientific method is used to explore observations, and feel free to look on some literature on evolutionary psychology. I probably will because I haven't particularly studied that.
I mean, it's all interesting for me, but
yeah, and he's right. It's used to explore observations.
Sure.
I'm asking, is there any possible truth you can know using any method? Is there any truth in the universe?
Like an absolute.
If there is, tell me one.
An absolute, not 99%, chance of whatever. An absolute truth. Like your bliss, Like someone fucking loves to play basketball. Like they love it.
Yeah.
And they know it. But they can't. They have a tough time describing it to you, Like, can you tell me how? It's like,
Pause Allen or Olin. The Republic by Plato is on YouTube. There's no reason to be this apathetic to, I guess, rationale or rationality.
Apathetic to rationality.
I wouldn't say we're apathetic to rationality. I don't even know what that means. Not caring about rationality is considered. I just consider it a subjective judgment. Everything else is just arbitrary by whoever the fuck, by social conditioning possibly or whatever.
I mean, I would agree with that, but I'm not going to totally disregard what he says. I'm not saying you are. Just saying, what do you mean?
Yeah, I would consider rationality as relative. Let's say
people. Let's be rational here. Let's be rational. Listen, Phil's the weaker one. He must die to ensure survival of this group.
He's joking, by the way.
I'm using the Harvard logic.
But
just kidding. Don't attack me.
I'm guessing social rational idea would be it'd be rational to, if there's a building on fire, to run away and get to safety. But then the fireman's rationality is something different. As in, could be
put out the fire and save lives.
It could be I want to save lives. It could be I want this paycheck or whatever.
Well, that goes into a bunch of things,
On and on and on.
Did we really respond to all of them?
No.
Because I feel like we didn't. That's gonna burn my ass like a disease.
I don't think they want to hear the answers, or at least.
Hey, I don't know that.
At least give them legitimate time to observe.
I feel disappointed, man, because I mean it's probably a collective of things. Our poor fucking setup.
Oh yeah, we don't have killer music and
lights.
We're not
brights,
and our ideas aren't so controversial, really.
Oh yes, they are.
They're controversial, but they're not really putting anyone down about the idea.
Well, no, it just like the other day I got
the idea is meant for something positive.
The other day, I got in an argument with someone who would say basically said something in regards of percentages equal truths. And it's like no, they don't.
You can truly find a percentage.
Yeah,
no.
He was saying something in regards of there's something that can be true, and there's something that you can believe to be true. I'm like, I'm gonna have to know what you mean by that. And he
that makes sense.
Well, sure, but he said based off of these studies, they believe it to be true, and it's like, well, that's like saying, well, based off of these percentages, we're gonna say it's the truth. It's like, well, that's. I mean, you can believe you can say it's the most probable. Like, we weren't in the room, but it's most likely Billy killed Adam because he was the only one in the room. He had the knife, and now that guy's dead. So it's the most probable, I mean, and it became this whole thing.
And are you a feminist?
Am I a feminist?
Yeah.
What does that mean? Like, seriously. What does that seriously mean?
I don't fucking know.
Am I a feminist?
Yeah. Someone asked.
Me?
Or either of us. I'm just asking you.
He said, are you? That's what he said.
Are you guys feminists?
I don't know what it means, but it sounds silly.
I don't like group labels at all. But maybe you can say existentialists.
fuck it, bro. I'm gonna show my true colors. I'm a team player. That's right.
That's the thing. I only like group labels with teams. If you're a business team or you're a sports team or something like that. But if it's like who I am, you can't fucking put people in groups like that.
I've been labeled who I am as an individual. But am I really an individual?
I guess.
Yes and no. What's that say?
They just smoke a lot of weed. I fucking wish, man.
I wish I could get some. It would help with inflammation.
Do you guys believe women should be able to vote? I don't even like voting, but under this context, sure. Of course they should.
Everyone should have the right to vote. But the question is, should you be voting on this situation?
I personally don't even believe in democracies. Not unless...
in a healthy society, which everyone's informed in such a way, then go for it. But unfortunately...
Not what I'm thinking.
Unfortunately. Well, it's like this.
I would say...
Just fired at me.
If... Let's say 100% of the human population were...
Somewhat informed.
Here comes a woo-woo word. Enlightened.
Ooh.
There wouldn't be a need for democracy, right?
Oh, fair enough. Yeah, fair enough.
So what you're saying is we need
leaders.
We need bad ideas around in order to choose the good idea, which is what democracy is.
And we need people.
What they believe is the good idea.
We need the one man or a collective of men and women to decide for us. We must vote them into power. It's like, what if we just knew what to do? You know, like, yeah, we got it. We live in a healthy society. I'm being hypothetical here because we definitely don't. And there's no need, you know.
Alright.
That goes into like my whole theory of what
do we promote
happens.
some? We promote existentialism.
Do we promote something that shows a Pepsi can? No, nothing. Brand labeling, champion.
Like I said, I don't like saying I'm a thing with just some word. I'm a rationalist. I'm a this or I'm a that. I don't know.
I would just say I'm someone searching and learning. You know. I am a person, but this is all like, you know, sounds coming out of my mouth and with my own meaning that maybe no one else understand. I feel so alone.
Definitely not nihilism.
Nihilism.
Let's just say apathy for the sake of I don't feel like explaining anything.
Fair enough. You might want to charge it.
It's right.
I got you.
We don't have some like fucking boxed in, perfectly shaped idea of what we do here. We just do whatever. We talk about shit we care about or like or whatever. As you can see, we do like fucking silly comedy things or UFC reactions and shit like that. It's like, oh, this is interesting, so we talk about it. Or we watch it and react to it or something.
But, like, you know, lately it's been mostly like political stuff, philosophical, ideology, etc. But there's no bounds.
Yeah.
There's no bounds.
And I bet it's going to sound like self-promotion, but I bet if you listened enough of our videos, if we get enough videos out and you listen to them, there'd be a hazy idea starting to take shape. Because these type of things are, like I said, irrational. They're feminine in nature. They're complex ideas. They're not just, it's chemicals in the brain, so blah, 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 and go on the spiel.
So this test says...
It's more of, this is a fucking convoluted fucking idea that's fucking goes left and right in all directions. There's no true shape of it because it's about a person shaping it themselves, their own idea of themselves. Apparently, wife beater is pansexual. He thinks grass should vote.
Grass?
Yeah, he's pansexual.
Fuck it.
Since everything is derived from...
Why not?
Was it derived from sexual inclination? Just making words up.
What happens to the being that has no desire to... You know what I mean?
It's just jokes, folks. That rhymes.
It's like, he insulted me. Click, 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 click.
What do you propose then if not democracy?
Well, hold on.
It wouldn't.
Well, let's figure out why democracy is here in the first place. Like, well, what is it?
It's to give everyone a chance to say something.
Sure.
But if 90% of the population is like, we got to kill that guy, he's the cause of our problems, then guess what the fuck happens? He goes.
Yeah. One way or another.
Consider that morally okay?
One way or another, he goes, whether it's not directly killing him or he's on the run. Taking, what's the word? Hiding in a safe space or safe place. Taking refuge, right? Is that the word? Taking refuge in different countries, constantly fucking invading people. Whistleblowers might, quite possibly. You know, it's awful. It's a horrible thing. As far as pointing like all your problems at one individual, you know, or a group, you know.
What do you mean? Pause, Alan. I think I'm saying it right.
What do you say?
Elaborate it so it's noises and feelings. I need some context. I don't know. I don't know what you mean by that.
What? Let me see. Are you guys slow? Well, I mean, my 60 time.
That's absolutely not the fucking line I was pointing at. He's like, "Where's the most hate at?" Here.
I just saw it. I just saw it. But, oh, that's what he means. All right, let me see.
I want to hear arguments.
Fair enough. I'll give you an argument, but slow is relative. But you know.
Surely, even with enlightenment, the hierarchies that exist would still inhibit such a prosperous way of living. Or it means inhabit. Yes, I agree with that 100%. Hierarchies will still exist. That is a masculine expression. And I would say
I would imagine though it'd be very much different from what we have. We would as far as imagine a hierarchy to be, you know.
No, I think he's just saying hierarchy. Period. As in, LeBron James will be better at basketball than me. Even in a perfect world, he put all the work in. He has the body and the workout ethic and all that shit to be a better basketball player than me.
Yeah, if you want.
And I'm like, that's cool.
Yeah, but it's by choice in a way. You know?
Yeah.
So it's like it's the way it is. Like no sir.
Also, with something a little more difficult to put your finger on, moral intelligence. I think there's a hierarchy of that.
There's no such thing as moral intelligence.
I
thought there was no such thing as moral intelligence.
I didn't say that.
Someone did.
It's just brain chemistry. Inhibit. Surely, even with enlightenment, the hierarchies that exist would still. Okay, I got you.
If we ever have that guy on, the Turd Flinging Monkey guy...
I disagree with that then.
Wait.
Dispose.
If we ever have the guy on, we should have a Ric Flair backdrop. Go ahead. Go ahead.
What hierarchies do you speak of that would stop whatever prosperous living?
What did he say?
I thought he was trying to say inhabit. But he said inhibit.
Oh. Do you know what ignorant means?
That's someone else. Your fucking ADD is crazy, man.
Well, I thought you just went past that.
Oh, I was going on Dispose's question.
Yeah, didn't you answer it?
Your thing was like a NyQuil logo, by the way. Dispose. Doesn't it?
Hey. It's probably some shit that's probably fucking awesome. Or he chose it by random. I don't know.
Ignorance would be content without wisdom. As in, fuck. I have to explain. Well, content. You say information. All right, if I define knowledge as information plus wisdom, then ignorance would be information without wisdom.
So in a way, it's like someone, you could even say like taking a vote on something they know very little about, not even a general idea,
Is there a difference between
Possibly.
equality and equity? Because the words, of course.
What's this?
Besides the words, of course, please elaborate. Difference between equality and equity? I guess you're getting at, like, as a being, we're all equals. That's equality. And equity as in maybe others provide a different type of value more than others do. Maybe? I don't know, man.
I mean, I can understand as far as from a perspective of we're all here, but we all offer different things.
No, I'm asking what he means by that.
Oh, well, I'm just saying.
Because these are probably, I'm guessing these are studied terms that I've never studied before. Or they're just normal words and I'm dumb.
It goes both ways.
Either way, it's
Some people have studied things on
well,
out here in front of them, but they have yet to study what's here.
very possibly.
I reflect and I'm studying upon myself.
I mean, there's multiple hierarchies that exist in almost everything. Let's say a social hierarchy in general. 100% of the population is enlightened. Who then is qualified to lead?
Would you have to?
It'd be the, once again, let's say a great public speaker, but we need to add in a whole facet of things, as in moral intelligence. If you're talking about like social leaders, you need moral intelligence in there. You need a desire to actually be up there in the first place, because two different people can have similar moral intelligences, but one just wants to, sit in a room and write movie scripts and shit. Doesn't want to be out in the public eye. And there's the guy who wants to stand out in front, and who's a great speaker and shit like that.
Yeah, it's a desire.
So
I want to do this.
It's follow your bliss, man. And this is more of a Taoist principle, but I think things would fall in place. Obviously, if you're using the context of the world we have today, it's not going to look so good.
That's why Batman's so awesome.
That's why it's hypothetical. Batman.
Hey, those movies are like, I think, very underrated still.
I don't know if they're underrated.
Well, I meant by as far as someone's own personal perspective, as far as reflecting upon themselves.
Yeah.
As far as how would I look at this movie or this story, or what does it say more, and how can I take that from me, myself, as far as someone truly,
Excuse me.
truly embarking on such a thing.
Okay, so I guess you're going for the Jordan Peterson route, Medikill. Well, the equality that I am speaking of in a context is the equality of opportunity as being different from the equity that is equality of outcomes.
Okay.
I've heard that from Peterson. Yeah. So yeah, I would agree with Peterson on that. There shouldn't be an equality of outcomes. That doesn't make sense. LeBron James should be in the NBA, and all these other hundreds of people should be in the NBA, but I shouldn't be because I don't have the skill to do it. But I should have the right and the opportunity to attempt to play in the NBA.
Sure. It all comes from want. Do you like basketball? Sure. Do you want to play professionally? No. Well, this kid over here does. Yeah. We all have the equal opportunity to do so, In such a situation like what he was saying, or you're saying, there would be no situation where someone would have a lack of opportunity, whether it's a poor community where they can't fucking afford a fucking ball or shoes, and there's no court for them to fucking practice at. Everyone has equal opportunity, but everyone has different interests, likes, etc., etc. We're not robots. We can't just Click, you're now MVP of this league. Be happy.
They do that for LeBron. They just give him. Refs are just like, foul. More questions. This is fun. It might be boring on the outside, but for me,
I'm not bored.
Me, the boring, monotone guy with woo-woo ideas. This is fun for me.
It's a little difficult for me because I have a tough time as far as you're on fucking, at least from what I'm seeing or hearing, on point, just boom, boom, boom. I have a tough time as far as creating content to give out externally.
Yo, I'm having a fucking hard time too, because
no, you're not.
I'm trying to take these words, I'm trying to take these experiences and put them into words without really. I didn't sit in front of a teacher for years who's like expelling words at me, and then I have to memorize them and then send them back out.
You kind of did.
I think the content's so.
Not the socially acceptable way was what you're speaking of. I mean,
yeah.
As far as the, I'm gonna sit here and think about this for a little bit.
Yes.
What?
That was a good question. Pause, Alan. Pause. Says.
Wait. Pause, Alan. Do you play the pause game?
Yes. There are good and bad people? Question mark.
Well, I think we have to define what good is and what bad is.
Let's just go with the simple definition.
Sure?
Yeah.
It's hold on. It's Tuesday. It's 9 o'clock. We have been fed dinner. We have energy.
I'm gonna have to plug this in. But
well, good people and bad people, right? So. Would you like to explain the ignorance and corruption thing?
I would say.
I got it, dude.
I would say there are good people, but there aren't bad people.
Oh, fuck.
Yeah,
damn.
no. And then imagine me with my sweaty fucking hands. Alright, there are good people, but there aren't bad people. Bad, or you could say evil. For me, I would use the term evil just because it sounds more badass. And bad's just one of those words that are thrown around so much that it doesn't have like a significant impact on it.
If I ever use it in a social environment, as far as if someone's explaining what's going on, who are these people, I'm trying to explain it in their own words, But if they ask me what I mean by bad people, I wouldn't say, well, I don't believe they're bad people. Like that's it, that's all they are. It's almost like why they like that. It could be either ignorance or corruption that's going on, instead of a pure, true, good intention.
Yeah. So
it's like, are you donating to this to these orphans because you truly want to, or are you donating it because you'd like to see them have stuff, do well, but also look good. It would look good for your image.
Yeah.
Well, then it's tainted.
Yeah.
It's absolutely tainted. There's no.
So yeah, there are such things as good people, but not bad people. And I define bad or evil as, you say, empty, which is what the action becomes, not the person themselves. Someone could, walk in on their wife, cheating on them, and then just in that moment, just snap.
Yep, without thinking.
To where the action's just hurt, kill, hurt.
Yep.
Without them there. So the action becomes the evil, but the person, once they come down, are like, oh.
Sure.
I just threw my conscience to the side in order to fulfill this action.
It's like if you see Angel. It's like when his soul was taken away, or at least he describes it as. It's like I'm watching it happen. There's nothing I can do about it. Yeah. It's like, what in the fuck? It's autopilot mode, man. Autopilot,
Are there good and bad artists?
I have to hear
yes and no.
What he means by artists.
I was just saying good and bad anything. Good and bad people, that's based on you could say a moral hierarchy. No, Well, I don't. Once again, I said there aren't. I don't believe in bad people. I would just say there's lower moral intelligent people, just lower on the scale. When it comes to like artists or doctors or whatever. Artists, obviously, that's abstract. That's right brain. That's opinion or belief.
Opinion.
I like punk rock, or I like hip hop, or I like this, or I like comedies, or I like romance, or I like
action,
or I like surrealism, or I like staccato, or whatever the fuck. When it comes to art, doctors, yes, there's a level of skill there, a measurable level of skill. As in, this guy performed a surgery and killed the person. This guy successfully did it. Now, obviously, you have to go deeper than that because maybe one guy had a bad day, one guy had a really good day. But that's a measurable skill. That's
almost as if, like, you know,
that's LeBron James is better than me at basketball. That's that level of hierarchy. Okay. Metakill says, what if all people are not born equal? That some require more resources to succeed in an area than another from a community. What should the community do? What if people are not born equal?
I mean, I would say like people are born equal, but the environment is sometimes.
I'd say that people are born equal, but not the same.
Not the same. Yeah. I mean, as far as we should all have an abundance of food. You know, we should all have equal opportunity as far as a healthy life, etc., etc.
I think they're aiming at something like affirmative action or women have been held down for so long that our whole entire office is going to just be women now.
That's silly.
We're firing all the men
That's
because
ridiculous. That's silly.
Because of white privilege.
You can imagine like a pipe, like a broken pipe. It's already broken, you know. And someone fixes that, you know, like fixes like it with like whatever kind of tool.
Yeah.
Fixes the problem with the pipe somewhat, as far as from a perspective, you know, from the outside looking within. And then there's okay, we have to suppress the pipe. And there's an overflow, and there's too much going on, too much water, you know.
Yeah.
It's like that's what this is in a way. It's like we suppress something for so long that these ideas come out. It's like, don't you guys see how we're being somewhat hypocritical here? And we're truly not using is there a lack of empathy in the room? Like, you know, like Bill wasn't around when this happened. Was that his fault? Now he can't get a job?
And I guess it sounds like the way you're asking this, it's more about the world we live in now. Like, what would we do if there's a impoverished area here? They don't have the same opportunities and accessible resources and shit like that.
It's tough, yeah.
What would you do as a community leader or whatever the fuck, or as a community group, as the community?
Probably, it's tough.
I would look for the root of the problem.
Well, sure.
Why are they in an impoverished area?
I meant why? Like,
it's like,
Well, it's this. As far as my first probably goal would be to enhance people's moral intelligence, but that's something they have to do with themselves. That involves choice. So it becomes like a long fucking thing, you know.
Well, yeah.
It's like,
I think it should, because there's more to a person than.
I feel like if I was in charge of a community of some sort and there was a meeting, and there's a bunch of people there, like, what do we do? This is all shitty. Then I just play. I go to the Kanye albums. Scrolling. Choose champion. Just let it play and sit back. Look around.
Yeah.
Anybody? No one? Well, god damn it, I can't do it myself.
And you bring up a good point, because art is the way to teach morality. I think.
Realize that you're a champion?
Because morality is born All right, morality is born from what I would call let's call it goodness or good, but it's first expressed through imagination, I would say. Like, what if that happened? You can imagine it and shit like that.
Mm-hmm.
And art is like the external, what's the word I'm looking for? The external reciprocation of our imagination, right?
We spewed it.
We're taking the rules of reality and going,
sure, just like this.
Just to show you some abstract type thing.
A man has buckets of paint. Doesn't have like what do you call it? A panel? No? Whatever it is. It's the opposite of the norm, and he fucking splatters the paint everywhere, but in such a way to where he sees fit. That's it. It's perfect. It's not fucking like Leonardo or anything. It's or anything. It's not some like Mona Lisa or anything. It's to the naked eye.
No, it's self-expression.
Sure. It looks violent, messy, but he's like, oh, I just feel like, and he describes it as happiness. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So that's where it can get kind of like, interesting. No, that's where it would get interesting. As far as someone looking for the first time from the outside in, it would be. Unless I turn the volume up on the song.
Yeah. So
it's interesting though, because this would be an interesting idea. As far as what if I could just snap, and make everything better? Everything's provided for. I do nothing to the people. Nothing to the people, right? I get rid of all the weapons are gone, all the guns are gone, all the drugs are gone. But I snap with my fingers and everything's okay. There's food provided for you outside the street. No worries. There's no pollution. It won't be affected. It's all healthy, organic. No drugs or pesticides with them. Nothing at all. Nothing that would harm you as far as a clinical diagnosis type of way. Nothing at all. But if I just leave the people the same, then I guarantee you something bad's gonna happen.
Conditioning.
What happens when you leave a sick society in a healthy environment? As far as the grass is actually green, great. Oh, there's no chemical waste here. Let's build. I'm greedy. I have not looked within. I have no disregard for other people. What is happiness? I don't know. Desires, cars. It's like, I'm not saying cars is a bad thing, but I think you get my point, maybe.
I think it's like that. It's almost like, let's say, like a meta.
This is like me thinking up at night.
Let's say there's like a literal heaven, and what I think people do is that they don't want to be told the answer about it. They want to do it themselves, just on a subconscious level. So if someone comes to them with some information that could be correct, they're like, no, yeah, I didn't find it. You came to me. They throw them away, then they come about the same idea through their own personal process. And they're like, oh, I found the answer.
Well, the interesting thing is this: even if they're giving a map, like this is how you do it, but you have to go through it. I tell you, you have to get in the ship. You have to sail. You have to go in this land. Journey across it, or through it. Make your way through there, obviously. Somehow, find a way over here. Find the best passage, or whatever you may choose, through these three passageways or whatever. And there's the treasure. I'm just giving you the map. Have fun.
Yeah, I think that was directed at you.
But other people still around each other. People still will kill others even if the weapons are not around. Is that a question?
I think he said, well, you might have misheard you, because I think it sounds like you both agree with each other. That if you snapped your fingers and made a healthy environment, people will still do dumb shit to each other.
I would say so, yes.
Yeah.
If you have a lack of understanding as far as who they are.
Or you might be saying if you, let's say humanity started over in a perfect environment, they'd still do that.
Hold on.
I would agree and disagree with that, but go ahead.
Well, as far as a perfect environment, you mean I mean, I do believe it's all there. Everyone has everything. As far as someone taking a perspective of interest, as far as what good and evil is, or even like, you know, just like the person that wants to be the basketball player in the perfect environment or the perfect society, not a perfect society, a healthy society, because perfect is relative. You know what I mean? So I have like, you have the opportunity to be the best basketball player ever. It's all here. If you want to, it's there. Go ahead. If you don't, that's fine. Just like the man that wants to become the like a very how would I say this? Just bathes or sleeps in philosophy, studies it.
Yeah.
That's all he thinks about. He's so interested by it. As far as like, everything about it. Whether someone likes to, like, there's another dude that likes to dip in and dive out, as he may choose, you know. But as far as that society, the one I think would be a healthy society, is everyone understands what good and evil is. Or at least has a basic understanding of, that's not right. We shouldn't do that.
I think that's already there. It's just
I don't think so.
Heavily blanketed by something
I've
else.
lost my faith in that.
Who knows?
Maybe my words are a little different, you know, because I'm, again,
Yeah.
maybe ignorance is the word I mean. Ignorance is a big...
Yeah.
Ignorance and corruption are big. You can think of it like this. We see Obama. Yeah, I'm going there. We see Obama, and we see this, like, you know, a situation where it's diverse for seemingly for, like, you know, like, whoa, like,
Yeah.
not a white guy, well spoken.
It's half white.
Well, you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Black skin. All black, everything black. Good speaker, charismatic in his own way. Promises all these things, like even the people that were starting to dive into the conspiracies, as far as, and conspiracies means a theory which has not been proven. It's a theory, a conspiracy, but it's a buzzword like to pass out to make you look stupid and crazy in front of people. But anyway, his big campaign was hope and change, and et cetera, and people love that. Oh, look, the hero, the champion, our champion. But you're all champions. But that's, you know, whatever. So it's like we'll take our hope and we'll put it onto you.
Oh yeah, that's
and then
the animal. Or animals.
What happens is,
that's been every president though.
It's no, just wait.
From what I've seen, that's been like almost every president.
It's
love-hate relationship.
This is very different though.
Yeah.
It has been never more such, as far as well, probably because I don't know history that well, but as far as what I've seen in my lifetime, as far as a savior figure, you know.
Yeah.
It's really,
as far as politics.
Interesting. Yeah, as far as that realm.
Yeah.
So, I bet the fucking shit was overflow with good intentions as well as ignorance, a heavy dose of it.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, well, you don't know what he's gonna do. And what did he do? He backfired on a bunch of shit he promised, and he turned out to be a murderer.
So blunt about it. Fuck.
He's a murderer. Not to mention he made a cold joke about drones, but that's not the point. My point is,
I'm black, so I'm gonna defend Obama. He won a Nobel Peace Prize award.
Yeah, so did Hitler.
He got a Netflix deal.
So
you hear that? You hear that?
So did Hitler. Just kidding. So yeah, I would like to say, like, everyone, or most people, at one point or another have good intentions, etc. But somewhere along the line, some people, if not all, I don't know, get somewhere caught between as far as ignorance or corruption. And then there's the redemption that's always possible there for everybody, you know. So, which is what I meant by, as far as if I snap my fingers and they're all living in a perfect society. I mean, I don't think I said perfect, but everything's provided for them. As in, if you were healthy people, there'd be no reason to squabble here, you know.
Yeah. Well, I would agree, but say that there'd be reciprocations of things that already exist, like war. You can consider debate. as war. If you
It's
look
healthy.
at it,
It's healthy.
yeah. But if you look at it, it's ideas battling each other for whatever supremacy to say,
Yes.
I'm the winner of this argument.
Well, let's say we see something as far as someone saying love is a chemical interaction, and something within us goes, I gotta say something about that.
You mean like intuitively, or your conscience?
Whatever you want to call it. Something inside, something here, and yes, in the ulnar cloud ligament, creates micro tears, makes me go, I must say something.
I want to read this one.
Yeah.
I'll read a couple.
We need some. This is kind of depressing. That guy was right. No music. Dude, the fuck. Like, hey, man.
Ideas aren't enough, bro. Where's the tits at?
We got called hipsters. Are we hipsters? I mean,
hipsters, feminists, cucks. I don't know.
Is it this shirt? Is that what's doing it? I mean, my hair isn't hipster enough, you know. And by the way, the hipster haircut has been fucking copied and pasted off of like the 40s or 50s or something like that. I think. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
The fucking shaved sides and the long top hair combed to either side or whatever.
Pause, Alan. I don't know if you're talking to us or Metakill. I don't know. But Metakill says, so if there are good and evil, what happens when there are two groups of people that have different definitions of good and evil, and these two groups meet? Love is just a word used to describe a variety of things, from emotion to action. 100% agree with you.
Sure.
At the end of the day, these are words. These are just symbols.
Yeah.
But we're talking about...
It just sucks when someone assumes, this is what he means. He's an idiot. It's like, well, hold on, bro. I don't know what he means by love or good.
I'll go full on woo-woo here. A word is a word is a masculine expression.
I must do it when you say woo.
Words are a masculine expression of something feminine in nature. Right?
I got a great idea.
A word, we can say it, we can write it down, it has structure, we can identify it. But once it hits the meaning part, that's when it becomes abstract.
I don't mind
like,
a little.
What the fuck do you mean by that?
I don't mind a little battle by that because we all have like it.
Masculine and feminine go everywhere, no
Sure.
matter what it is.
So
it's
as far as two groups meeting, and as far as
that's what the Matrix was.
We have to go now. No, we have to leave now. The car's outside. You said too much. No. I don't mind two groups meeting as far as debating or like what does this mean or what does that mean, but I would hope to imagine that they are all on a level in which
I think he's just saying the words, using words differently.
Sure.
But yeah, nonetheless, good is still good and evil is still evil. Just like the truth is still the truth. No matter what word you call it, it is what it is. Right? Or like if I say my favorite color is blue, that's my truth. It is a truth. It's a truth throughout the entire fucking universe because I created it.
The question is,
I'm me. Now when they say, what do you mean by blue? It's like, it's whatever internally I'm observing and calling blue.
Another question is, let's say you've been limited to a select few of colors, and then you've been introduced to a new amount of colors. Is blue still your favorite?
Right.
Jordan has only seen green, blue, red, and yellow.
Can it still be my favorite?
Can it?
Yes.
Fair enough. I've heard a question like that before.
Do you need to sleep with every woman on the planet to know whether or not you love this particular one? Or do you need to go through all the women on Earth? Then you have to make some spaceship that can travel the universe and find every other living life in the universe. You have to sleep with all those.
Listen, man, I'm saying a lot of negativity here. It's a lot of negativity here, bro.
Being honest.
A lot of negativity here, bro.
All right, we're gonna end this. We're ending it.
On camera?
It's like, yes. It's over.
We have achieved enlightenment. Goodbye to our meat bodies. Hello to the glowing orbs of light. Oh.
Yeah, so don't forget to hit the dislike button. If you're here for well-produced videos, we will get there. Actually, if you are, just like, we're about the ideas, really. We expect the production value to go up, and we're obviously going to put out like comedy sketches.
I plan on robbing a bank soon, so better audio, better camera, better lighting, because I look like Casper.
If you want someone who's wholly confident on like these complex ideas that just reduces everything to this simple thing, I would want to question that.
Sure. Without a doubt, it's something inside. Like, if I heard this guy on the street, I would just talk. I would definitely go like, "What do you mean?"
Yeah.
Like, it is interesting. I'm not trying to shit on him or anything. I just think it's odd whenever you say love is simply a chemical reaction. And I mean, hey, if there's like, I'll definitely get a study, but I'm not going to absolutely call it that, because it's I view the study as something. Well, this is we're trying to figure out more about it, so let's look at this.
And there's
I don't mind that.
There's
at all.
ample counter arguments to that.
I just don't like. Yeah, sure. But I don't like it when it becomes a type of religion. And I'm being careful when I say this. When it becomes less about, well, let's investigate here and let's look at this as far as obviously outsiders looking in, whether it's perspective or what have you. But when it becomes something that's not I didn't forget scientific theory. I mean, as far as we're gonna test this, we're gonna test this, all the probabilities. It's very interesting what could happen, rather than this is what it is, and that's it. Like, males are happy because of this. The studies show. I'm like, now you're like, you see what we're doing now? You see what we're doing?
Yeah.
And and I see sometimes like people shit on like the fundamentalists for religion or the atheists. It's like, you guys are kind of doing the same thing. It's this big gang, a collective group of people, you know.
And you have to start off with this initial just like this video. Initial premise.
Not labeling anybody, just saying. You know.
The initial premise ended up spreading outward, and then ends up creating all these other ideas that seem like they have a solid foundation because you start off with this initial premise. Right? If I say. Whoever likes the color blue is dumb. If I start out with that as my initial premise, I can probably come up with a bunch of other observations. Like, hey, this is why this happens over here. Look down. You see that? His shoes are blue. It's like, you can do that from there.
Sure.
I'm questioning the foundation itself.
But we're cucks.
Real quick before we go, Medical says example of two of those. Example of two of those groups meeting: Union versus the Confederates, Axis of Evil versus the Allies, Christianity versus Islam. Once again, you got to bring moral intelligence into that argument. Let's say they weren't shooting and killing each other to where it's just, oh, you don't agree with me? Yeah. And then the counter argument goes away.
Sure.
Have them sit down and argue.
Yeah.
Have people observing them, and watch their ideas as they try to break each other's ideas down, and it falls on a foundation of like, you got nothing here, do you? Yeah. Your foundation is broken.
As well as this, but
you could just shoot someone.
If these like actual events that we don't know what happened that we see in textbooks. I'm just kidding. Okay, these events that he's talking about. You could really break it down as far as it's just interesting to me because you could break it down as far as like ignorance or corruption, you know. As far as we're fighting because of this, but little does he know they're really fighting because the North does not want the South to secede, to leave, and then it would fuck up their shit. The South's economy, however, would fucking die without
that goes into moral intelligence. What are your intentions?
Sure. As well as we want to free the slaves. Hooray! But why? Why do you want to do it?
Like, all right, this may seem like a good thing on the surface, but we also have this ulterior motive.
Sure.
Of,
just like this.
I will get filthy rich off of this.
Just like this. Now, this is a theory. I have no evidence to support this. Just other people saying what most likely happened, and or other people saying, yes, I was a part of this organization. This did happen, from what I did and what I've seen, as well as all these occurrences and things kind of it's like dominoes. They all fall into place.
Yeah.
So, it's like we need a regime change in Iran. We're gonna send in troops. The women are getting beaten. They're beaten. They're poor. The children are kicked on the daily, and the men are just silly and stupid. They need regime change. And we're gonna give it to them for the better of the people, and as well as they have other.
What about Saudi Arabia? Shut the fuck up. They're helping us fight the terrorists.
What I'm saying is, people will come up with a reason for doing something, and double motive, such as like, they're being oppressed. We go in, we already have whatever the fuck, different motive that we don't say out in the open, but it's somewhat clear to what happens, what really happens, as far as these, like, if you really don't care, what's with all these contractors? What's with you putting your guy that you're propping up as far as a politician in place from the other guy, who's in the end probably more corrupt in more ways than one? And what's going on here? You're not helping the people.
And I would say that can happen on a subconscious level, which would be the reciprocation of that, of governments outwardly doing that, and then you have individuals who are like, I don't know, all of a sudden, like, who knows, they leave the window open at night. A kid leaves their window open in the winter at night, and they get sick, but they subconsciously did it in order to miss school the next day or something. But they're like,
I was like, please.
But in their ego, they're like, oh, I didn't mean to do that. But that subconscious ulterior motive.
Then Tessarian peeks.
Or even Freudian slips and shit like that.
Tessarian somehow opens the window from the outside. The one that's not open. He's like this.
The microphone.
Anyway. But you did. You did mean to do it.
Alright, that's it, man.
I'm not going to invite you out here like a pedophile, but you think about it. Mom, there's a weird man outside.
Alright, guys. Peace out. Great questions, by the way.
Wait! There is a comment section.
They already chatted, asshole.
No. It's
hit that thumbs down.
It's continuing. Whatever.
We need that air horn thing.